Hey, this is I'm Fray, and that's
Well,
Koji, and this is welcome to Layer One. This is the first episode of our podcast. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, what do you want to do?
boom,
Fuck.
there it is. It's that. It's it's just
There you
just like a sad, soulless intro. It's just like, uh,
go.
you think I want to, you think I want to be here? It's just like,
This fucking sucks.
live in a world
Um,
where you have to make a podcast. Damn.
yeah, just make fun of the fact. Oh, wow, yet another fucking podcast.
Oh
Wow,
boy.
oh, such an original idea.
This ain't no midnight gospel. We ain't
Christ.
psychedelic purple person. No, no, it's not that.
No, this isn't. This isn't. You're expecting like heart to heart, like people being genuine. You're expecting
What,
like effort? No, what the fuck?
effort? Nah, it's just
Cringe.
the
Cringe.
lads talking.
This is layer one, my dudes. You're in the
It's
wrong fucking place.
yes.
I don't know. Maybe someone out there in the dark, deep recesses of the internet of YouTube will enjoy this, but probably not. Anyways,
Yes.
what's the topic for today, Koji?
I would believe we're gonna talk about the anime of Godzilla Singular Point that
Ah,
people have
yes.
totally watched because anyone I've know who's into Godzilla just won't touch it.
That's something that people care about. This is a great idea for a first
Yeah.
episode. Shit, fucking the perfect intersection between weebdom and
Just
tokusatsu or kaiju fans.
yes, but absolute mind-bending conspiracy craziness. Just
Complete
like,
mind meld.
oh, how can you just do it all? It's fine.
It's great. I guess where the fuck? I guess the best part to start is from the beginning.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
no.
yeah. No, oh no shit.
So- no, we start from that ending and just work backwards. So,
We start from the ending. Well, we might be wondering how I got myself into this situation.
I can't
Basically,
even tell you that. I don't know.
yeah. Like, we
Just
don't know what the fuck happens by the end. So how the fuck could we possibly fucking do this?
yeah.
But yeah. So starts out. I guess. I mean, even the way it starts out is pretty weird. You have fucking um the main dude, fucking what was his name? Yoon, right? Yoon.
Yoon, yeah. Yeah, that
Um,
was it.
the the white-haired fucking like programming genius, fucking prodigy, basically. Uh, do you remember they're investigating like some like mansion for some old like
Yes, because
gothic looking mansion?
they're detecting a weird signal that led them to
Yes,
some spooky mansion, and uh,
yeah, like some weird like radio signal. Uh, and then they just break into this fucking house, this fucking mansion. I'm guessing I think I remember it being like abandoned for like years. They say so
yeah,
like
yeah,
whatever,
it
but like
definitely was.
they they
And
they break into this place, and then they find this fucking um like what was it like some weird like crystal record sonograph thing somehow playing this fucking really weird eerie song and
yes, a song that,
broadcasting it over the radio
yeah, and
somehow.
it's given off a weird signal, and uh, I believe the song was
Yeah, yeah. It was Sanskrit actually. It was fucking
Sanskrit.
sung in Sanskrit, which is like what the fuck.
Yes,
I I
very
I
unique.
yeah, I do remember I looked up a while ago the translation,
Hmm.
like some kind of translation for like what is actually being said in that. And it's like, from what I can tell, it's basically like a prophecy describing the events of what's gonna happen. Like, it basically um describes the events of what's gonna happen once Godzilla shows up. Um,
Hmm.
wow, because wow, spoiler alert, fucking Godzilla shows up in a Godzilla anime.
Yes, who would have thought? Wow. I guess after that, there's the other character too that is also into this weird world of science and weird creatures that start coming about. Is her, uh, what they encounter? Yeah, they encounter the dinosaur, the what eventually becomes Rodan or is named Rodan,
Oh,
but
well, yeah. The little like, because Rodan in this is is a like a species and is like not
yeah, it's like a
it's not like
swarm
a
of
yeah it's like a it's Rodan is a species, and it is also a though each individual Rodan is small compared to the usual depiction, and they look more like actual like pterosaurs, you know, like basically red, like I don't know, like a Quetzalcoatlus or something, but with fucking teeth.
yes, they got
Just
teeth. And
Jesus Christ.
oh yeah, then there's the whole bit of the weird red dirt that it's found on them. That
Oh
there's a
yeah,
whole other
the red
plot
dust.
direction.
That
It's
is that's
just
yeah. We'll have to
we'll
explain
get
that
there.
later because that's
Yes.
just fucking holy shit. That is
Oh
nutty as fuck. I still not sure I fully comprehend the like explanation for that. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay.
yeah,
Um,
but
but yeah, so the Rodan start popping up,
yes.
and of course we gotta mention the other main character, Mei Kamino,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yes.
good girl, cutie. I like her. Fucking for anyone who's seen the Pacific Rim anime, I'm starting to realize that purple haired purple haired girls in kaiju anime gotta be my favorite gender. Swear to
It's good
God.
stuff. It's pretty good. Gotta say. It's great stuff, honestly.
I love May. She's such a fucking May Kamino in this. She's fucking such a fuck. She's the perfect combination of complete fucking dork and like genius.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And but I always thought it's like kind of it's really funny how like perfectly set up she is to be involved in this, because her whole you find out that her whole like she's going to school, and her whole like specialty is like imaginary creatures basically, but like this sounds it's it sounds a bit better. It's a bit better than it
Yeah.
sounds. I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
it's not like, oh yeah, she's studying cryptozoology at a
yeah.
school. No, it's a little more
Like
advanced than that,
it's
but
like yeah. It's like theoretical biology of like other planes of other like dimensions, other planes of existence. It's super fucking weird, but it's also like it's funny to me how like perfectly set up that is. It's just like, yeah, my whole specialty is looking into like how organisms would evolve and function in like other dimensions, and it's like, what the fuck?
yes,
Why?
that's so advanced and
Specific.
complex. But I
Yeah, because
mean,
it's like all this like crazy like quantum mechanical bullshit, and it's just like, why would you like what purpose and practicality would this have in like the real world? Like I know it's just like, oh well, like retroactively you can say, well, my knowledge and specialty in this helped save the fucking world from kaiju. It's like, okay, yeah, but like before before like before the events of the story, the universe is pretty much set up to be like basically just ours,
yeah,
but
with
not, you know. So
yeah,
it's like,
just aside from the
well, yeah,
funny organizations having a little knowledge of some weird
yeah,
goings on.
yeah. Aside from the fact that like some fucking like random radio station has the bones of a Godzilla buried, God knows how many levels below the main floor somehow for some reason. And has for like since like World War II. Like, yeah. But besides that, besides the like pre-existing knowledge of this shit, like most people are
Yes.
under the assumption that like, yeah, it's just a normal world. So it's
Yeah.
like, what fucking practicality and purpose would would she have had to like be like, yeah, this is totally something I should do. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but it's funny to me that like she was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to school for imaginary higher dimensional creatures.
She saw the All Tomorrows video one time and was like, I want a career in whatever that guy was doing.
I want to figure that. I want to that. That's what I want to do. Yeah, exactly. Fucking Christ.
It's just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, there's that. Oh yes, what we didn't mention was that the main character, and what was his friend's name? The guy with the ripped arms. It was just kind
Uh,
of around.
Habaru.
Yes.
Habaru. Yeah, the fucking ripped, the shredded dude who was just like,
Yes. They both work for a funny little old man who has a Jet Jaguar uh, robot
yeah, he's
that he's been
building.
working on.
It's
Yes.
fucking hilarious. He's like a
It's
fucking crazy old man who's like, yeah, I'm gonna build a robot to save the world. From what? I don't fucking know. I just, it's gonna be. I swear to God, it's gonna be needed one day. And the best part is, it is.
it is, and it's super important.
The crazy old man was fucking right. And
Yes, the man who drives the pink Jet Jaguar Cadillac around, just like, oh, just got all the branding for it, and just so
yeah,
good.
he's like, it's fucking funny as fuck. He's like, yeah, this is Jet Jaguar, fucking trademarked.
It's like, you want the merch, you want the jackets. I got the
Yeah,
car
exactly.
stickers, the bumper stickers. He just, oh my gosh, yes. So they work for him doing their little
Doing like
odd
it's
jobs and
Yeah, it's literally just random like tech tech shit. I don't even want to say like tech support. They're just straight up like doing odd like tech jobs for people, like working on like engineering stuff, programming stuff, like just whatever they're like mercenary programmers and engineers. Just
yeah,
you
that's the
hire them
best
to
way to
do shit
describe it.
for you, which is honestly is pretty neat. Like
Yeah,
if I
no, it
had if
is.
I had the skills for that, I would totally do that.
Just hire yourself out as a
Yeah.
supreme hacker.
Yeah, just build fucking robots in my spare fucking time. Hell yeah, let's go. Yeah,
Yeah.
what do you do? Well, I just do random tech shit for a living and build robots on the side.
Well,
What
I
the fuck?
know it. Why are you doing that? Come on.
Yeah, that old man's living. Let's be real here. He may be crazy,
Yes.
but he's living.
Oh yes, definitely. Well, yeah, no, I guess that where does that lead? There's a festival in town, and they're showing off the Jet Jaguar robot.
Yeah, and that's when the first Rodan shows up.
Yes, and then we got our first little fight between the little Jet
Showdown.
Jaguar and the little Rodan, and they hadn't. Oh, but yes, at this point they haven't named Rodan. A dinosaur just appeared in Japan
Yeah, well,
somewhere, and people are like, what?"
you're like, what the fuck? Excuse me?
And now there's an old man and a little robot beating
Yeah,
it up.
yeah. It just goes balls to the walls
It's just,
instantly. Like episode, I think it's like what, episode two, or
yeah,
it's the first episode. I don't remember. I think it's episode two
I think it's two.
where
Yeah.
they're at the festival, and then it's just like the whole time it's just been kind of weird, kind of like a mystery vibe. You're like, oh, the record, the radio broadcast, the weird signal, this weird shit going on, but it's fairly normal, and then boom, fucking giant fucking pterosaur, fucking old man in a mech, in a fucking homemade mech of all fucking things, duking it out in the middle of this fucking festival in the middle of some random Japanese city. Like, what the fuck?
Yes,
It's so fucking
exactly. It's
like, okay, we're just going there.
yeah. So this is where they start to set up the little seeds for Jet Jaguar. Is when well, he just gets knocked out of Jet Jaguar because the faceplate gets ripped off on its chest and he just falls out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we're gonna put it into like autopilot mode. So Mr.
Yeah.
Hacker, main character, just spits out a program for autopilot.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, I'm sure he had that already set up just in case.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
it was a
he pulls
backup
out like
thing.
some kind of like fucking like Steam Deck looking thing, which has the program on it, which he uses to pilot it like it's a fucking kind of fucking tablet game or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You know, I've started to realize how much Singular Point kind of riffed off of Robotics Notes.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too. Like, it has a lot of similarities to lovely science adventure things.
Yeah. I was about to say, I was about to mention, it has even like the parts, it has a few like occultic 9 anime esque moments, where like you just see like websites and like
Yeah, no, it would
random like
show.
Twitter convos happening in Japan about what's going on,
Yeah, exactly.
which is where Rodan gets named. Is just
Yeah, just a bunch of there's like news broadcasts and tweets and just different posts and messages showing up on just like of people talking about it, and I was like, that's when they discover it. Oh, that was when they discovered it like
it's
follows
because
radio
that
waves, and then they're like,
yes.
oh, hmm,
So Ray, like, because the Japanese name for Rodan has always been Radon,
yes,
the
exactly.
A and the O. So it's like, oh, Radon, like radio, and then yeah, I don't
Yeah. So
know. Weird.
that's when they come up with the name for the first kaiju that shows up. Oh right, we didn't also mention that during the fight it just flew up in the sky and then just dropped dead into the town
Yeah, it just,
square
yeah, it just
randomly.
drops in, and then part of the news and like the weird post sequences is like showing how more Rodans start showing up and then just dropping dead.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm like,
And it's
oh,
just
okay. There's all
oh
kinds of speculation. I'm like, why? What's going on? What the fuck are they? You know?
yes.
um,
Oh yes, and then meanwhile, all of this, the main girl, she gets a fun little program just kind of appear on her computer one day.
oh
The
no,
little
she
what was it?
downloads it
She
off of
downloads it, right?
yeah,
Yes,
she downloaded it from
yes.
the Otaki Factory, which is the like company of the crazy old guy that
Oh
the other
yes.
main character works for. It's
Oh
his
right,
program, his AI.
right. Okay, I forgot about that
Cause
little bit,
she's
but yeah.
yeah, because in the first episode she's actually called to that like random radio station because they're also getting the signal, remember?
Yes, I do
And
remember this part.
it's like activating some kind of like weird alarm, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? We don't know what's going on. And she in the first episode she calls the other main character, the dude, the brainiac dude, because Otaki Factory like worked on the like those alarm systems, and so she calls them. So like, what's to be like, hey, like what the fuck, what's going on here? Like, why is this happening? And they're like,
Mm.
something must be tripping it up, dudes. And if I remember correctly, the fucking yeah, because you find out it's just so fucking weird because he puts together that the signal from the mansion, um, the song, and the signal that the fucking radio station is picking up that's activating the alarm are the same thing.
Right.
And you learn because another character is a guy who works there, and there's also like the bot, like the head guy, I guess, at that station. And that character who works there starts like asking questions. Is like, what? Like, I don't understand. And the head guy's like, oh, I think I know what's going on here. And then towards the end of, yeah, it's towards the end of episode 1 where he's like, here, I'll show you. It takes the guy down like the secret underground layer. It shows him the Godzilla bones, and you find out that the signal is coming from the Godzilla bones.
Yes, right. It's just like hardwired into the walls, and it's just
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's
he's
just
like,
kind of
yeah, like
doing this.
he straight up says something like the head guy. is straight up says something like, "That's the bones singing," and it's like, what the fuck? What does that mean? what are you what are you talking about? And
Yeah.
yeah, and the implication is that that signal is what's drawing the Rodan,
Hmm.
and that's why they're coming.
Yes. But yes, no, the little
And then
program
yeah,
that
so
she
the
gets.
girl,
Uh,
she looks into like who they are, is like, well, what's going on? Because she's curious, and so she
mm,
investigates, finds their website, downloads the fucking AI.
yes, the sudden little. So I think it was a dog. It was just yeah, a little dog
Yeah,
character that is.
yeah, the dog AI. It's just
Yes, that definitely has a name. The but that's funnier. That's just yeah, no, just this weird little
yeah.
uh, creature on her computer now that's just incredibly intelligent.
It's like, wow, this is like unrealistically intelligent. Like this thing is just straight up alive. What the fuck? It's like
Yes.
it's funny because like she's so like it's treated as like no big deal, which is the funny part. Is
Mm,
like she's just like, hey, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like I didn't give you permission to do this. Are you a virus?
right. Though I guess the series does take place in the 2030s, so it could be just kind of commonplace that like your virtual assistants are a little more animated.
I guess I don't know.
Maybe it's
Maybe
hard to
I mean
say.
it's I mean it is a series with fucking giant monsters. So it's, you know, I guess we
It's
can't
like
be
oh,
knocking
well,
the fucking realism. You know.
realism of a little dog AI on your computer that. Yes, but there's oh gosh, how these things all tie together. It's just oh,
It's nutty.
it is insane. Oh, what happens next is the thing. Because like getting closer to like the middle and the end, it just kind of all blurred into one crazy
Well,
like globe trotting.
yeah. Well, what happens next is that the Anguirus shows up,
Yes, right.
and that's how they figure out that like these things. That's how they figure out. That's part of why May gets so involved, because like holy shit, these things op. That's how they figure out that these things operate on on like entirely different rules than like normal living organisms do.
Yes.
Because it can fucking, they find it's like, again, it's like some weird quantum physics bullshit where they're like, yeah, it can fucking like detect, that's, it can somehow look into the future. It's like how somehow detect of something that's gonna happen in the future and like prepare its like weird force field armor bullshit
Yes, because
in
yeah,
advance,
some
so that bullets just don't work on it because it can tell when you're gonna try and shoot it. It's like, what the
right, yeah, because they had those
so
hunters
nutty.
taking pot shots at it, and we're like, oh, it's just kind of roaming in the woods. It's like okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just like, yeah, we just have this thing in the woods. This giant fucking monster that's like, what? It's like this. It's like some like.
Oh, what's the name?
It's bigger than the Rodan.
Yeah, it's quite large.
Yeah, but it's not like super huge. So it's not like typical kaiju huge. It's more like a really big dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's also fucking bulletproof.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Just deflecting bullets with its weird jittery scales. It's just or spikes, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. The weird spikes that like move, and then that yeah, because the spikes move, which is really weird. But that's how they figure out that like it can like detect, it can like sense the future in some weird way. Because like they always move in like the perfect way to like shield it from any attack beforehand, before the attack even happens. So it's just like, what the fuck?
Yes. Well, what happens is that it seemed to be learning a bit too because they shot it once and it hit, and then after that it kind of learned what guns were and it was able to counter that with the weird like seeing the
Yeah, yeah,
future.
yeah.
It's like, oh, those sticks the little people have hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's deal with that.
And then after that is when the Manda show up.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
The like, sea serpent ones.
Yeah, because they're detected by some submarines, and now there's
Yeah, and that's when they show up is when the red dust, because it starts out as like red in like the oceans. Remember, it's like the red sea. It's like
Yes.
some like Evangelion shit
Yeah, it's
that
from
the manga bring in.
yeah, cause well they found some on the Rodan and they're just like, oh, that's weird. It's covered in
Yeah,
like this weird red foreign dirt, and but yeah, no, then it became noticeable when the Manda showed up and it just yeah
yeah,
started
and
dyeing everything red, and it's like,
oh
oh,
yeah, the whole oceans just started becoming red. It's like, oh, what the fuck?
all relating back to the big prophecy that they kind of
Yeah,
discovered of like, oh, when the oceans run red, and
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's some biblical shit. You're like,
yeah,
holy, okay, yeah, well, and that's also when like the first form of Godzilla shows up, following the manga to hunt them,
yeah, yeah,
which
because
is like,
the Godzilla
yeah,
in this is kind of similar to the one from Shin Godzilla. That like
yeah,
it starts out as like a weird, like fish creature whale thing that kind of just evolves
yeah,
as
yeah.
it
It's
keeps going.
it's fucking sick. I love that concept. It's like, holy fuck, it just keeps growing stronger.
It just keeps adapting to things. Yeah, no, it's because yeah, all that goes on, and there's so many things
Yeah, there's so much fucking shit that goes on in this show, and it's the it really should have been a longer show. It was only 13
that
episodes, and
yeah,
it should have been like 24, 25 episodes.
yeah, because and then it was like the couple like plots going on side by side, because you had like the Jet Jaguar plot
Yeah, it
of
tries
them
to
just
pull some like
dealing, yeah, they're like dealing with like, oh, there's Rodan problems now, let's figure out how to stop the Rodan and blah blah
yeah,
blah, and how to like lure them away, because
it,
these
it
sorts of
tries to pull
things.
some like Pulp Fiction shit,
There's
It's
that,
like,
but then there's May's adventures and like
yeah,
getting into like the
yeah,
scientific community and all these CEOs just like with all this weird mystery going
yeah.
on, and
There's the other because there's other characters too. Like there's the main characters, but there's other characters with other shit going on. Like you have the Japanese government
yeah.
lady,
Oh, the reporter guy, the blonde
the
reporter,
reporter guy,
quote unquote, is
the fucking the dude working for, I forget what the company was called, with the guy who has like an Indian daughter.
right. Yes, the
Um, I forget what his name was.
it's just so many characters.
There's so many characters for a 13 episode anime with so much going on. A lot of the dialogue is like science, like super in depth science talk.
Yeah,
Which, don't get me wrong, I fucking love, but it's like it's so hard to follow. They're talking really fast too in fucking Japanese, and you're like, what the fuck? I'm trying to read the subtitles. Hold up.
yeah. After like the stuff in Japan, then May starts going all over the world. She gets taken to like some conference in Europe for weird
Oh yeah,
science stuff that yeah, where they show off that
the
that
archetype.
weird, yeah, the archetype, the crystal that traps light.
Yeah, well, because archetype. Oh my god, archetype and red dust are ostensibly the same thing.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, no, that's what they eventually like come to the conclusion, is because like
They eventually figure that out, but I think it's easier to like state that
yeah, exactly.
because it
It's
fucking it a lot of things don't make sense until you realize that connection between the
mhm,
red dust and archetype.
yeah. So basically it's what it is like there's scientists and these companies that already have developed this interesting material that does it like stores energy, it
Yeah, well,
traps light and things like that.
it's a it's a it's a higher dimensional substance that, because it exists ostensibly in the fourth dimension, and so what we're seeing isn't really all of it. Like the red dust and archetype are it's are more like the three-dimensional shadow of a fourth dimensional substance is what it is.
Right. Yeah,
Which
exactly.
is why it can seem to like break several laws of physics. The experiment that they do to show like, hey, look at this crazy fucking cool thing we synthesized is they shine the light through it through different like mirrors and then through it, and like the more the light gets stronger, even though it shouldn't, and it eventually becomes like a fucking laser and explodes.
Yeah,
The
yeah, no,
archetype.
because yeah, like like I was saying, it
It
traps the light instead of like reflecting it or
yeah.
refracting it. It just kind of stays inside the
Well,
loop thing.
it refracts it through time,
Yes, right. Through time.
so that it gets stronger, basically, or at least it appears to get stronger because you're fucking seeing several different instances of that light through time building up in the same instance, and so it looks like just shining a light once, like it builds it up and creates more light and energy until eventually, you fucking get enough kinetic energy to fucking explode it, seemingly almost violating like what the law of conservation of energy, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, no, that is that material also happens to be like what we were saying. The red dust that they're
Yeah.
finding because of these kaiju that are showing up. It's just like, oh, this weird red dust is the same type of material. That's really weird because we just made this in a lab and now it's showing up on these weird dinosaurs coming
Yeah.
from
They
somewhere.
and what you find out, because this is like the lore that's throughout the episodes is kind of being like explored and hinted at. One of the other like side plot things is because how they knew about this shit was through the work of a scientist from the post war era, Ashihara,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
this like nutty like Ted Kaczynski looking dude, um, who like he's the one who discovered the Godzilla bones, um, because like Godzilla like destroyed his town during World War II, but because fucking World War II was going on, everyone just kind of somehow forgot about it. Um, and so he like kept the corpse and like hid it away. And he did like research into like um he did the research into what we eventually learn is the singular points and archetype and the red dust and all this shit, because you learn he discovered the red dust from jellyfish, which they like never explain that. They're like, what the how like
Oh
what?
yeah, that definitely was just a random like background thing. Like, oh yeah, they're just in these weird jellyfish he found. It's just like,
Yeah,
oh
he just
okay.
found this jellyfish that had the red dust. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, and then he like studies that shit and like figures out like the secrets of archetype and stuff. But like because his notes are so because he's so fucking schizopilled and like his notes and shit are all crazy. Like it took because he disappeared. I forget when did they say he disappeared? In like the 60s, 70s,
Yeah, I
something
think it
like that.
was. Yeah, I think it was like the 70s.
Yeah, he disappears, and so he doesn't continue. As far as anyone knows, his work is never continued. So these companies try to piece together like his notes and figure out what's going on. Um, and it's not until the like just before the time of the show that they like figure it out. They unlock the secrets and they figure out his notes and synthesize archetype and stuff. And they um they bring May because they recognize that she's fucking massive brained. And like she's able to put together and piece information together that took them fucking decades to do in like a single like conversation.
Yeah,
So they're like,
child
oh
prodigy.
yeah, they're like, damn, okay, yeah, we need you on our team like fucking now. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember everything.
yeah, no, it's
So
just
yeah,
so much.
crazy as fuck.
Yeah, so that's just part of it. This is before the real crazy stuff starts happening. This is just them piecing together. Yeah, the
Yeah.
weird, no, weird materials and dust on
Yeah, the
these
mystery
things. And
background lore.
yeah, before it gets, it's like, oh, weird things from that prophecy are also coming true while all this is happening.
All this shit is going down, and they're just trying to piece together like what is happening and what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, like, and oh yeah, also, oh jeez, we went like on a, yeah, like because there's so many plot points going on. Because
Yes, so
meanwhile,
much.
the whole Jet Jaguar stuff is like, yes, they discover that you can lure the Rodan away with like weird radio frequencies, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're able to then they on top of this they're also upgrading Jet Jaguar bit by bit as they encounter
Yeah.
these new problems and stuff. And when they're dealing with the Anguirus, oh, there's that whole bit where they go like like wailing for the Anguirus with that one truck with the harpoon on it, and then they're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah, yeah,
here's Jet
yeah.
Jaguar now," and he just takes the harpoon and just goes to fight it.
Yeah,
It's
he just
just like,
fucking goes nuts on it, and it's fucking hilarious because the old man is piloting Jet Jaguar for that fight.
yeah,
He just goes ham on that fucking thing. Um, and then they fucking well because they managed to like break off a spike from Anguirus's back and like turn it into like a fucking like use
oh
it for a spear.
yeah, they make a
It's so
spear out of
fucking
it.
cool. Like a giant spear for Jet Jaguar to hold. And it's like, oh, that's fucking cool.
It's
That's
so good.
that's fucking sick. And so, they learn about yeah, cause May they learn about the singular points and like the great catastrophe that's like prophesied to happen basically. Both by like the song and like these weird old like myths and legends, and also like that Asihara figured out from like well, because we forgot to mention another thing we forgot to mention was the like because he Asihara established at least one of those companies that's like involved in this like crazy conspiracy shit,
Hmm.
and because he traveled to India, discovered a like cave full of red dust, and like that's where he uncovered the secrets of archetype, and he uses like the fact that like because like that spot I guess is like some kind of like weird like area where like the like barrier between the dimensions or whatever the fuck like breaks down, and he builds this like crazy like supercomputer suspended like in like this chasm in this cave that like uses like the singular point fucking red dust archetype shit to calculate like the future.
Oh
Like
right, yes,
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh yeah, the whole
it's
crazy
some
supercomputer.
that whole
Oh
it's some straight up Laplace's demon tier shit. It's like giant supercomputer built in like the 60s that's capable of predicting the future and what's going to happen. So that's how Asihara first learns of like the great catastrophe, because he's like, holy shit, this thing is calculating all these potentials, but it all collapses in this one fucking catastrophe where all possibility just ends. Like the end of everything, basically.
yeah,
It's like,
there's no
what the
more
fuck? So they're trying to figure out
future
what it
past
is.
it.
They're trying to figure out what it is and when it's going to happen, because they don't know when the great catastrophe is going to happen. They just know in the future, and that's it. Sometime in the future. And they just know it's going to happen sometime in the future. It hasn't happened yet. They don't know what the fuck it is. Um, and they're trying to figure out how to, I don't know, stop. Well, yeah, they're trying to stop that, but like, because there's what the orthogonal diagonalizer. That's like
Yes, yes,
the other
the
like big MacGuffin.
oh the MacGuffins,
that's
my
that's
favorite
basically
thing.
that's kind of what this whole show is. Just a bunch of weird sci-fi MacGuffins.
Yeah, and uh, what that does, oh geez, because that's like it's like a briefcase nuke, but it like it affects the red dust
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where it
Because
like crystallizes it.
yeah, yes, because what they learn, because they eventually learn the whole red dust archetype are the same thing, higher dimensional object substance. And so the orthogonal diagonalizer, like, what they figure out is that the red dust and like hard archetype object are like whatever this higher dimensional substance actually is. Like red dust and archetype are just different, like not forms per se, but like configurations of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of how like I said, they're kind of like three-dimensional shadows of the real four-dimensional substance. And kind of how like if we were two-dimensional, like like someone, a three-dimensional person, like a shadow of a hand on a wall. If you move your hand, like it would look as if, from a two-dimensional perspective, it would look as if the shadow is like turning into a completely different object, uh
Mm-hmm.
because of
Actually,
just
a
the
really
lower
good
dimension
thing that
point of
would
reference.
explain this is actually like this Carl Sagan clip where he describes how, well, things in a higher dimensions, make shadows in lower dimensions. So,
Yeah, yeah.
a sphere is a circle, and a cube would be a square, but depending on how you rotate it, it could be some weird
It could be a
other
diamond.
shape. Yeah, it could be a diamond or another weird
Yeah,
shape like that, and that's why, like,
yeah.
oh,
So that's basically, yeah, exactly. That's basically what archetype and red dust are. Is they're different forms. They're different. They look to be completely different things, but they're actually just different configurations of the same higher dimensional object or substance. And
mhm,
so one of the potential configurations is, you know, is like completely inert and doesn't do shit, and is completely safe to have in like our reality. And the orthogonal diagonalizer is what switches the substance into that inert state that's completely useless.
mhm. Yes.
That's the key to fucking stopping the catastrophe.
Yeah. Which is it's really interesting to set up because like it threw me for a loop because it made it seem like those companies dealing with the orthogonal diagonalizer and stuff, and just the portrayal of the characters too made them seem like weird and sketchy.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh,
it
they were
turns
super.
out that like they were just all on kind of the same side of just like we kind of need to
Yeah,
stop the weird apocalypse thing and just
they
like
seemed super, super sketch for like the longest time, and it's like, no, we're just trying to save the world from this like impending catastrophe. It's like,
yeah.
because what you find out is that like the red dust is being like produced by Godzilla, basically in some
Hmm.
weird way. It's like coming off of it, off of him, and what's basically happening is that the red dust is being used to like terraform reality basically into one that's suitable for the kaiju. And that's why the Rodan and shit like die.
Hmm.
Um, is because the red dust is what makes is kind of like what enables them to stay alive. It's like it's like oxygen to them or whatever. Like in order for them to exist in our reality, they need the red dust, and so the more red dust there is in the world, and that's the problem. That's the great catastrophe is that the more red dust in the world, the more reality gets terraformed. It's literally like a whole separate reality invading into ours, and like all it literally alters like the rules of reality to be that of wherever these things fucking come from, which is
Yes.
just so
It's
fucking nutty and
it's
so cool.
such a nice and new take on like the Godzilla and Kaiju lore and stuff instead of always just like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, it was just nukes or weird science experiments. Like, oh no, they just showed up from some other dimension and
yeah. Well,
they're just animals and they're just kind of like, oh,
yeah, which is
terraforming
like
things and
it's super cool because it gives like a more, I guess, realistic explanation for how these things can even exist. Because like obviously we know that nuclear radiation doesn't create giant monsters.
No. In
You
fact, just
know,
kills most living
it it just
things.
fucking kills things. It just kills things. And we know that like things that big cannot exist in our world.
Mhm.
Like the laws of physics
And just
are
like biomechanics and all that stuff, it doesn't
yeah, yeah.
work.
So like that's why it's super cool that it's like yes, this and uh it's super cool because it's like yes, these things come from a completely separate reality where all these things are possible, where the laws of physics and biomechanics are just different and things like these can exist. And that's why it's super cool that they added like the red dust is like super cool as like a concept because it's like oh so like that's why like it's cool that they went through the effort to have like yeah the Rodan and shit die because they're not compatible with this reality. So once our laws start kicking in, they just fucking die because they just can't exist in this reality. But once Godzilla comes in and the red dust starts terraforming and altering the rules of our reality to suit them more, they stay alive. And
Hmm.
it's like that's fucking
Right.
cool.
It's
That's sick. It gives an explanation. It gives like a reason for how these giant monsters can exist in our world is because it's they're from another world and that world is invading ours. It's like holy
yes. Right.
holy
And because when they right, I forget the name of that one kaiju that was at the bottom of that giant facility. Because that was a new one for the anime, was it not? I'm pretty
oh
sure.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was it was a new one. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
completely new one. It was based off of some old ones, but it is a completely new one. I think it was like Salunga or something it was
Hmm.
called.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, because that's
yeah.
like that would just showed up at the basement of this giant facility where all
Where
that red
the
dust was
supercomputer.
in India
Yeah.
and stuff. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so they try to contain it at first, but obviously it breaks out, and it seems to have an effect on the red dust because it like
It can control it.
yeah, it can
It's
control
fucked.
it. Yeah, yeah, no, it's able to control the red dust, and that's when they first test out one of the orthogonal diagonalizers and just drop it into the facility, and it just turns all the red dust into crystal or
Crystal.
glass, basically, which I think it kills the kaiju, but as we'll find out later, no, it just kind of stopped
Yeah.
it because
It
it's
just stops it briefly,
mm-hmm.
which just gives them time to like evacuate and like
Yeah,
seal the upper like layers of the chasm, but like that's all.
yeah,
It
exactly.
still
Because
comes, it still gets the fuck back up, and yeah.
yeah, no. Meanwhile, back with the Jet Jaguar stuff. That's getting close to when they have to go clear out those like weird bug ones from the boat docks.
Yeah,
Weird
yeah,
bug
yeah,
kaiju
yeah.
that have just kind of infested the place and eaten a bunch of people.
Yeah, they straight up like cocoon a bunch of people, kill them, fucking eat them. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's like,
that's
wow, that took a turn. But at least
Jax.
at least Jet
Oh shit,
Jaguar has his Anguirus spear now, and he's
fucks him up.
yeah, just goes in and fights them. But
And it's at that point where they've uploaded another instance of Yoon's AI into Jet Jaguar.
yes, yeah, now it's completely running on its own,
Yeah,
and
it's autonomous at that point,
yeah, it's
which is super cool because they
autonomous.
like they like upload like a bunch of like crazy moves into it too. So it's just like fucking Jet Jaguar like knows some like sick fucking karate shit or whatever. He's just
Yeah,
whooping ass with his spear. It's like nice.
yeah, it's
You love
pretty
to see it.
good. Oh yeah, but those weird bug
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
don't really die. They like split them in half, and they just kind of like, oh, weird goo, and then
yeah. The weird like goo shit inside of them. Like that's I guess like that's the real monster. I guess.
yeah, it's super bizarre, and yeah, the
Yeah.
entire like docks of this place or the marina or whatever is just completely infested with them, and they try to deal with them, but they just kind of burn down a warehouse and just hop on a boat and head out
They,
because they're like,
yeah,
oh
they just
wow, this
yeah,
is,
'cause
this is
there's too
bad.
many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's way too many of them.
Yeah, so
Um,
there's that whole thing going on. And, oh yeah, at this point, Godzilla's made his way onto land, I think. That's just been happening in the background where it's just been slowly like, oh, he crawled out of the ocean and now he's just kind of entered a city and just taking its time. And
yeah, he's like evolving and like spreading the red dust and becoming just. He kind of you a few. I think it's like a few episodes where like it's just Godzilla standing around the city, like evolving and like the
mm,
dust spreading, which is kind of cool. You get to see like the different stages and like him like fucking owning the fucking the Japanese military.
once again, classic
And
Godzilla.
yeah, and he I think at one point he like crystallizes.
Oh yeah, he goes into
Yeah,
like a
he doesn't like a fucking
cocoon basically. Yeah.
yeah, like a weird crystal cocoon, and until he emerges as his final form as Godzilla Ultima, which is the sick name.
So good. But yeah, no, that whole just the whole bit of him being like in that city was very very similar to Shin Godzilla too.
Oh
Just
yeah,
just the way he ended up, because didn't he do the atomic breath before he went into the like cocoon, or was that after?
yes.
That was
That's
before.
how he
Oh yeah, it
that
was right as it like transformed into that. Yeah.
that's how I think somehow like that I don't know like yeah like exactly as that was happening because he breathes the atomic breath down like at the ground, which causes this huge explosion, this giant shockwave.
Yeah, it like
Um,
liquefies buildings nearby and
yeah,
just
literally. And that somehow triggers the cocoon.
yeah, it just lets off all this energy and stuff, and it's just like, oh, he's crystallized. What happened?
Yeah.
Oh yes, isn't that when they now realize that the source of that weird radio signal is coming from like directly above Godzilla in the giant spooky red cloud that has appeared over the city?
No.
Oh,
It's
what was
coming
that?
from the remember because it comes from the bones. What they
Oh, it was the
find, what the
bones. It was
it was the
oh no,
bones.
that was the other
Well, you're
thing.
thinking about something from late way
Way
later.
later, yes, right. It's just it's all blurred together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
completely
many
understand.
things.
Uh, yeah, and so I think that's when May goes to the Indian facility, and
Yes.
they show her like the supercomputer, like more. She learns more of like the lore about Ashihara and all that. Fucking the other Salunga is like still trying to break out, and they're trying to like figure out like how to fucking stop shit. Like they're trying to figure out the secret of like the singular point and like the great catastrophe and how to stop it.
Yeah, no, because like once the Jedi group is on the boat, that's when like the Godzilla stuff's going on, and then
Yeah.
the whole. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, again, there's still all these little scenes of like tweets and newscasts and things going on of just
Oh
like
yeah.
just the
Those are like
absolute state of the
regularly
world of
interested.
just like
Yes, because
flights grounded, Rodan swarms everywhere, like destroying
yes,
cities, and
yes, because the
it's just
kaiju
like
start showing up. They start showing up all over the world, and the red dust starts spreading all over the world.
yeah,
So you have like Rodan flocks. Like they show like scenes of like the Rodan attacking like New York and like Europe and like China and shit. Um, which yeah shows how it's just like oh god like
yeah, like real apocalyptic event going on here.
yeah. It's so like yeah, it's so fucking nutty. And so yeah, all this is going on as like the world is going to hell, and this backdrop of like this kaiju, this extra dimensional kaiju apocalypse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the fucking so they she May uploads her dog AI into the supercomputer so that it can try to figure out and like so it can do the calculations that they need. Um, and like enables it to like literally be able to like calculate and look into both the future and past,
Oh yes.
like figure out all the possibilities and shit, and like there's like a secret, like it finds like this like secret bit of information hidden by Asahara where it somehow is able to fucking like see him and in like the past and somehow like past Asahara also like detects senses in some way, the fucking AI there, and it's like what the fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, then you add a little bit of time travel into that.
Yeah, and the song, the Sanskrit song starts playing from the supercomputer as Salunga is making his way up, and like the supercomputer is starting to like get destroyed. So they have to leave before the AI can tell them what it found, what it discovered, because they have to escape the fucking facility. And then they head off. Yeah, because the other crew, the Otaki factory crew, head off to Tokyo because the old man's like, I'm gonna fucking fight Godzilla with Jet Jaguar. Swear to God. They're just like they're like, okay,
Yeah.
look, we do gotta do something, but bro, you're not gonna fight Godzilla with fucking
Yeah.
Jet Jaguar. And like the military's there trying to help them, or they're trying to help the military, and then but then they convince the military to help them with their little plot. I remember Yoon gets like a text message from May, but like one that she like never like actually sends, like or at least they never show her sending it, and it's like, yeah, you'll figure out, like I'll send you like the key to all this. That's where the whole part where like on top of Godzilla in like the midst of the red dust cloud is like where like that's where you gotta go to get the fucking the way to stop all this. And they're like,
Hmm.
uh,
Yes.
is she insane? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just like in the sky above Godzilla. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. No, that's around
Yeah,
the time they
exactly.
just get coordinates, and it's just like, yeah, it's just up in the sky directly above where Godzilla is currently like
Yeah.
crystallized.
And then yeah, so I think yeah, Godzilla Ultima comes out of the cocoon and fucking raise there's all kinds of havoc going on. He's destroying the city. The like weird I think at one point he like fights this like giant Rodan, but like it's made out of a swarm of the smaller normal Rodan, and it's like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, that was really interesting. Dispatched them very quickly because yeah, it was yeah, he's just a swarm that attacked
Yeah,
and he just blasted them and I mean yeah, no, then they're upgrading Jet Jaguar
they give
even
him a
more
fucking
because
jetpack, and they're
they
like, yeah,
give
we're gonna
him
go
a
fight
jetpack, of
Godzilla. You know,
course.
they like update him.
Yeah. Oh, that's about when he gets like uploaded with like that weird mixture of like no, not yet. Because he upgrades a few times. Like
Oh, like a child.
this is where like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
starts
yeah.
acting like a child. Yeah, where it's just kind
Yeah,
of
it's super
reverted back and it's just kind
weird.
of
I
learning
forget
again
why
and
that happens, but I
doesn't
do remember that.
understand
Yeah,
things.
Jaguar like become like
Mm-hmm.
suddenly has the mind of like a child, and you're like, what the? Okay, sure. You know, that's
Yeah,
I mean, it's not the craziest thing that's happened in this fucking show, so whatever.
yeah. Oh yeah, but then it starts singing the song.
Oh yeah, like it actually starts singing it itself.
Yeah, yeah, no. And everyone's just like, what is going on? Meanwhile, the military's just staring at this like,
Yeah,
what?
and then oh, that's right.
We have
The
other
other
things
crew
going
in
on.
India, they stole one of the orthogonal diagonalizers, and they send it to Tokyo to the military lady who gives it to Yoon. And yeah, because the message is like you got to go like on top of Godzilla, in the midst of the red dust is where like you'll like the coordinates to where you'll get, because they need the code for the orthogonal like the proper sequence to fit for the orthogonal diagonalizer to
Mm-hmm.
actually
Yeah.
work properly instead of only kind of working. Like the proper it's not like a code, like a specific like pre-set up code. It's like there's like a specific like the orthogonal diagonalizer like basically runs on like some kind of like mathematical problem and so they need the solution in order for it to actually work, but they can't figure out the solution, and that's why they were trying to they uploaded the AI into the supercomputer because they were like, yo, use this nutty like super advanced quantum supercomputer to try to solve the calculate like the calculation, the fucking equation problem. um and so like, yeah, they have to go to Godzilla in order to get it for some fucking reason, and they go. That's when um, I remember that's specifically the end of episode 12, the second to last episode, because the ending scene is one of the sickest fucking scenes in anything ever. Where the fucking they're heading off. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go fight Godzilla. We're gonna go get the fucking the answer to the problem. Um, the like yellow glowing moths show up. That the old man's like, yeah, this is a symbol for war. Yeah, we're going to war with Godzilla, and like the moths are like low key implied to be like Mothra,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, similar type of like thing to the Rodan, where it's just like a species of weird
Yeah,
little yellow moths.
yeah. And so they're heading into the city as like the fucking the like chorus version of like the song, the like Sanskrit song starts playing, and it like zooms into like the center of the city where Godzilla is, like hidden in the dust clouds, and then as the song ends, you fucking get close to him, you go close to him, the camera zooms into him, and you fucking the song ends with fucking you hearing Godzilla's fucking roar, and that's when the episode cuts. And you're just
It's oh,
like, yo, fuck, dude.
so good.
It's so good. I recommend if anyone who hasn't seen Godzilla Singular Point, watch it for that fucking scene alone, because my description did not do it
No,
justice.
no, it's so good. It just gives you chills.
Yeah, and you're just like, yo. I rewatched that sequence like after I finished that episode. I was like, I'm gonna just rewind that back a bit.
It's too good.
that was
It's too
that
good.
was sick. Um,
Yeah, no,
and
then
then
then that leads into
yeah,
the last episode where
yeah,
it just keeps
so much.
going. It just
So fucking much. Fucking okay, yeah, so the AI so we find out the AI wasn't completely fucking nuked in like the explosion of the destruction of the supercomputer, and Salunga coming up and escaping. I'm trying to I'm trying to remember. Yeah, yeah, yes, cuz part of the problem was in the previous episodes when it was in the supercomputer, because of like the crazy like time fuckery effects of the supercomputer, there was like several, like it created like several different like alternate timeline like potential instances of the AI, and it gets like overloaded, and then when it wakes back up they all merge together.
right. Yes. Yes, the oh, and yes, and right. Remember the AI is called BB. I was just like, oh, I was trying to remember for a
BB,
while. Yeah, it's BB. Uh,
BB,
BB.
BB.
BB. Yeah, yeah, that little dog AI just had a fun adventure in the multiverse, I suppose. And
Yeah, Christ.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Um and then yeah, so fucking the Otaki factory crew went off to fight Godzilla. Um fucking that's they fucking the old man and like the buff dude, like they fucking in order to get like Jet Jaguar and like Yoon, who's like sitting in like a little harness on Jet Jaguar, in order to actually get him to be able to fly, they have to like fucking book it and end up like driving off a fucking like bridge.
Oh yeah, yeah, where they just
It's like, oh, the fuck, they start like, okay, and like Jet Jaguar and you and like fly up onto Godzilla, but like they fucking like crash land onto him. Um,
ah yes, and the size comparison at this point is obviously our Jet Jaguar would not be able to fight Godzilla. It's tiny compared to this Godzilla, which is funny because this iteration of Godzilla is one of the smallest. It's
Yeah,
like,
they made it original Godzilla
yeah,
sized.
yeah, it's about the same size. And Jet Jaguar is
So
only like, I don't know, 15 feet tall, maybe, not even.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
it's small.
yeah, so yeah, no, when yeah, it crashes into Godzilla, and there's still Rodan everywhere, just that whole problem is just not gone away.
Yeah,
And
and then the AI is like, "Yo, I figured out the fucking the answer." Yeah, yeah, it was like, yeah, I figured out the answer. It was with us the whole fucking time.
yeah,
It was the song. The song was the fucking like answer to the fucking equation, like the problem. Um, sent from like the future somehow,
yes, it was.
which is like really fucking nutty, cause like you find out from like the Indian girl that like that May's traveling with, that like the song is like an ancient. It's a Sanskrit song, and it's like an ancient, like folkloric, prophetic song of like her people. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? So they sent it. Wait, like you're saying they sent it back all the way somehow to like ancient India?
Yeah, it's
What the fuck?
so insane. But that, yeah, no, that gets about the point where, yeah, because BB merges with Jet Jaguar, the weird,
Yeah, because
new
the
Jet
well,
Jaguar.
no, what it is BB doesn't merge. What it is that like the song contains like this the sequence, the answer, like
Yeah,
what they need. And so the song, somehow they packed the Jet Jaguar AI, like the new Jet Jaguar AI that ends up fighting Godzilla, into the song. Like Jet Jaguar, the AI is itself the answer to the like equation, the problem. And so
hmm
they fucking they send the song to Yoon and like tell him this, and so they have the AI on Jet Jaguar analyze it, and it's like, oh, it analyzes it, and like the the Jet Jaguar AI from the future, that's the answer, ends up fucking like activating inside of Jet Jaguar, like the robot, and somehow this enables it, like it uses like this weird quantum fucking singular point red dust equation answers that built into it to become fucking ginormous.
yes,
Literally just fucking just grows into like a giant fucking kaiju size and fights Godzilla. God, it's so fucking.
right. So yeah, no, okay. So what it was the updated AI controlling Jet Jaguar is a weird like evolution slash descendant of the,
Yeah, 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 from the future.
yeah, from the future, and it's part BB or Pelops 2, I think was the other name. I don't know. They had so many names for these
I
things, but
don't remember the name of the AI. I'm
yeah.
honest.
Anyway, the little dog AI and like it just all these iterations of AI went together and made this one that's in Jet Jaguar. And yes, that's when he turns giant and fights Godzilla, and then but Godzilla just annihilates him. Or well,
Yeah,
but of course,
yeah, you know he does annihilate him with the fucking atomic breath.
just blasts his
But
face
then
off.
last minute, Jet Jaguar activates the um the orthogonal diagonalizer, which fucking nukes Godzilla and
Yeah,
turns all the red dust into the blue inert crystal that just completely gets rid of all the red dust.
yeah,
Salunga, globally, it does this globally. So like
yeah.
Salunga is also killed, all the other kaiju are killed, and they save the day,
They
victory.
save
And
the day.
it's not. The funniest part is that it's not until the very end that Yoon and May actually like meet in person
Oh
for
yeah,
the
no, because
first
this
time.
whole time it's just been over phone calls and texts and stuff. Because
Yeah,
they're each dealing with various things from across the world and stuff. And yeah, save the
Yeah.
day. The little AI, the dog AI, had a backup this whole time because it kind of got destroyed in that whole weird supercomputer process, but it had the backup, so it was at least,
Yeah, yeah.
one of those little kind of survived. It missed out on all the fun.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and it just kind of ends there. It's like, yeah, we saved the day, the catastrophe was averted, and then the end credits scene kicks
Of
in,
course, the end credit scene.
which is the nuttiest thing I've ever fucking seen. Because it's just like, wait, what? What does this mean? How did this? How? Why? What? None of this makes sense. Because it's just you fucking it's the journalist, right? And
Yes.
then it's the journalist, and
Wait,
then
we forgot because he wasn't actually a journalist. He was some shady guy who was able to
yes,
confiscate the Godzilla bones from the facility at one point in the story. He
yes,
just had helicopters show up, and then he's just like, not really a
yeah,
journalist, and it's just a
like this is mine now.
psych. Yeah, he just takes the bones, somehow has that authority. But it's him, that other blonde like CEO guy.
Yeah, of the other company,
Yeah,
yeah, which the implication is that the fake journalist guy works
yeah,
for them, that guy. Um, and you see them like using the bones to make fucking Mecha Godzilla,
yep, they are.
and you're like, what the fuck? You're building Mecha Godzilla out of the bones of the old Godzilla from fucking World War II? Why? How? And then the final fucking kicker is you see someone else standing behind those two in the shadows, and then he steps out of the shadows, and it's fucking Asahara?
Somehow, and
Somehow still
but
alive?
also not
Because,
aged, so it's like weird
yeah,
time stuff.
yeah, clearly there's some weird stuff, time stuff, because he was already old in like when he was doing his work, and when he disappeared in like the 70s, and somehow he's still alive in the 2030s and doesn't look a day older than when he disappeared, and you're like, what the?
Yeah,
But he's like, but then he smiles, so like he's working with them, so like, wait, why?
yeah, it's like more questions. It's like, okay, now they have got Mecha Godzilla.
It leaves you with and then it cuts, it ends once he's you see him and he smiles, and you're like,
What?
I have so many more questions by the end of this than I had starting this.
Such a great series.
It was super insane, such an insane fucking show.
Yeah,
um Really good. I like it. It's not like the best thing ever, um but like if you want like some Godzilla, kaiju giant robot action, with like a really cool, well thought out sci-fi story, and you could tell that like the writer like knew what the fuck he was talking about, which is really cool.
yeah, no, that was really nice.
So it's a fun little 13 episode anime
Yeah,
that features Godzilla.
yeah.
It's really cool, really nutty.
At least we're getting some Godzilla content. It's been
Yeah.
the legendary movies and
I
stuff
was
like
about
that.
to
It's
say,
been a
like, yeah,
while.
yeah.
Like
We,
at least we
we've been
got that.
we've been getting a good, like, I think right now we're definitely getting probably the most Godzilla content that's ever really been,
Yeah.
at least in terms
Well,
of like like visual, like, or like video, like TV movie stuff,
mhm.
the legendary stuff, MonsterVerse, Shin Godzilla was a few years ago now. The anime movie series could have been better, but like it was still something, I guess.
Yeah.
And then there's this anime, which is really really good, in my opinion. Uh, Really, if you like really weird, really high concept sci-fi, not just Godzilla and Kaiju, though that's also a fucking bonus. Then do recommend.
Yeah. It's it's so good. It's just like just thinking back on it, it's like, oh my gosh, is just a just a solid series too. It's like, yeah. Oh, will we get a season 2? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows
I hope we
what's
do.
gonna happen with any of this kaiju stuff? It's like, is Legendary gonna continue their stuff? Is this gonna get
Legendary
more?
is actually. Did you hear the news?
I did not. I don't think so, actually.
There's gonna be. I mean, it's. I think what it's like Apple TV, but like it's still something. There's gonna be an Apple TV series
Oh,
in the month. Yeah.
oh, that's okay. That's good to know. At least it's not dead.
So
Thank
we
goodness.
are getting more. Yeah, and I think there's rumors of some new uh Toho Godzilla project in the work. So we'll see.
Mhm.
But like this is a nice little fill.
Yeah.
Very big brain, very weird, very weird. So it fits with our whole thing. It fits
Yes.
with the goals of this podcast to just talk about weird fucking shit. And
Yeah. It'll.
if you manage to make it to the end of this and heard everything we fucking talked about, then pretty fucking weird, I'd say.
Yes, definitely.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's that. That's the first thing.
That's all,
That's
folks.
all.
Where yeah. Hope you enjoyed us rambling about fucking an insane anime that barely anyone's watched.
Yes, go watch it. We're gonna shill it to you
Yeah,
now. Just go
yeah,
go
go watch
watch
it.
it.
This has been this has been an ad secretly
It's a
actually.
secret.
Toho paid us for this. No, I wish. I fucking wish.
Imagine. Just,
Yeah. I guess I don't know. We're gonna try to do this more.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
Even
there'll be
though
a
it's-
little consistency to this. We'll come up with some
Yes.
very interesting topics.
We don't have a schedule because fuck schedules, but
Yeah, no, we'll just find interesting topics and chat about them like this. And
subscribe if you want to see more.
yeah, just awaken to
So
the
you can get
weirdness.
the notifications. Hit the bell to get the notifications for whatever we inconsistently upload an episode. And until next time,
Yeah,
peace.
definitely. Goodbye.